Hi, and welcome back to White Sponge. So, before I start, I would like to just wish everyone a happy new year. Okay, and for today, since it is now 2022, I would like to share one of the most important tips. Okay, especially when you're coding, to save you insane amounts of time. So, let's get right into it. All right. So as you can see here, right here we have a React Native screen. Okay. So one important tip when you're coding is do not repeat yourself. So for example, okay, in this screen, if I want to create a method or function, okay, I might type something like this: constant method name equals to bracket. Alright. So every time we want to do so, we have to retype that. So instead of doing that, okay, we can leverage on code snippets. Okay, so that is for Visual Studio Code, which is what I'm using here. If you're using another code editor or IDE, okay, it might be in a different name. Maybe it's called code blocks or something else. Okay, but for Visual Studio Code, it's called code snippets. All right. So in order to start creating your code snippets, okay, on Mac use Command Shift and P, and you see this, right? Okay, you see at the top it says Preferences, Configure, User Snippets, right? So what exactly are code snippets? Okay, so just think of them as a way to auto-generate the code that you want to type, okay, but using shortcuts. So for example, just now we were writing these functions, right? So instead of rewriting this whole or retyping everything here, okay, we can do this. Okay, R and F, which I have already pre-configured. All right. So it says here React Native function. So if I just type RNF and I press tab, this appears. Okay, so this will allow me to just type in constant get method, and if I press tab again, it will auto jump to within the function itself. All right. So let's take a look at that snippet. Okay, same thing. Command Shift P. If you're on Windows, it should be Control Shift P, right? And of course, you can choose to make different types of snippets for different languages, right? Okay. So over here, you see the snippet that I have previously created. Okay. So for Visual Studio Code, okay, to create a snippet, right, you need the name of the code snippet. So this is totally up to you, right? And then you need a prefix. So the prefix is kind of the trigger or the shortcut. So you can set it to whatever you want. So for example, right now it is RNF. If I change it to RNG, and if we go back to settings screen again, all right, typing RNF, okay, will not show or prompt you with the user snippet. All right, we have to use RNG. All right, and tab, same thing. Okay. Okay, let's undo that. Let's change this back to RNF. All right. Okay, so now let's dive a little bit into how you can start where you type at. So if you pay attention to the body here, okay, body is basically what you want the code snippet or the user snippet to auto-generate, right? Okay, so if you see this $1 sign, so that is the first position where your text cursor will be at, right? Okay, $1. Okay, so it goes in an ascending number order, right? So from 1, 2, 3. So for example, if I do $3 here, all right, and let's go back to the previous script or screen. Okay, let's do RNF. Okay, so right now we're at $1, the first position. Okay, let's just make a random method. Yeah. Okay, so now we're still at the first position. Okay, but we can press tab to go to the second position. All right. You can do anything here. All right. And then if you want to go to the next position, okay, press tab again. And now we are at the third position, which we just defined via $3. Alright, over here. So this is helpful if you do not want to manually or navigate yourself to the various parts of the code that you're about to write. And it is also very, very useful, okay, when you want to do something that repeats itself. So for example, right now we are at this home screen file which is empty, okay, but okay, I have this code snippet that I created myself. So if I tap now, okay, notice that it generates a lot of code, okay, but for example, if I type home screen now, notice that, okay, whatever I type here is also repeated, okay, at this export default home screen, right? So this is possible if in your code snippet, right, you have two of the same numbers, right, where you define your dollar number. So over here, you can do a $1, which indicates the initial starting position, but if you take a look at that, you can also have a $1 below, right? So you can repeat it. So for example, if we change this $3 to 1, all right, and let's go back to home screen. Remove everything again. So now if we do this again, all right, and if we type home screen again, okay, notice that it repeats itself, okay, at two other places and especially at the new position which we just defined in the user snippet. All right, so I'm sure you can already see how this will save you a huge amount of time, right, without retyping everything and just leveraging on the user snippet that you define yourself to save you time. So imagine if you take, say, if you're a fast typer, if you take, say, 10 seconds to write a line, all right, or maybe 30 less than 30 seconds to write this entire block. Okay, if you have to rewrite this for each screen, for example, maybe 5 screens. So that's what? 3 minutes? Yeah. Okay, but if you use a code snippet, for example, right, you can do this once to set up your initial user or code snippet, and then after that, just do this, bam, less than 5 seconds. Yeah. So just imagine, as your project gets bigger, this insane trick will save you even more time. So be sure to leverage on any code generation snippet feature that you can get, regardless of your, or rather of the code editor or IDE that you are using. And for me, for Visual Studio Code, that will be code snippets. All right. So hopefully this new trick, or rather this trick that I know and is sharing with you right now, will be helpful to you in this new year 2022. And if you do find it helpful, do remember to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe and ring that notification bell. And as always, stay awesome and stay safe, and do look forward to more of our videos. Cheers, man.